The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning, I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
To recover our natural health, our rights, and our freedoms. And I'm Paige Clarke, and good morning.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day in downtown Clearwater, 79 degrees, going up into the high 80s, maybe low 90s, and a little shower here and there, and that's normal for us right now in August.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, give us a call. You can reach me at Paige at TFNN.com and Nico at
TFNN.com, and we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648.
Okay, we need a debriefing on the keys.
Oh, the keys, yeah.
I want to live vicariously through you.
Well, we definitely had a blast, and I have a picture here of us in front of Sloppy Joe's.
Joe's, one of my favorite places.
That's where you met your...
Well, I met Austin's dad there.
Yeah, Austin's dad.
Yeah.
So your son's dad. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's cool.
It was fun. You know, it was an amazing thing. We took 75 down to 41 because I like to ride through
You drove the whole way?
Drove the whole way, yeah.
Oh, nice. That was a fun road trip.
Yeah, it's about 7 hours going that way. Down 41, which goes through the Everglades, because ever since I came here with my dad in the 50s, the Everglades...
You wanted to go see the algae overgrowth? No.
Well, actually, the algae isn't there. That's a little north of there. So it actually cleared up my lungs and everything.
Oh,
Pretty
that's
amazing.
good.
Yeah, after the day, I wasn't feeling slimy in the morning, which I usually have been for the last maybe 6 weeks or so.
Right.
Really a problem. Big thing that I noticed was no birds. We have more birds up here than they have in the Everglades right now. And even though it's summer, I know there's a lot of migratory birds. There's a lot of birds that stay year-round. And we saw one bird from the time we got onto 41 till we reached Chrome.
See, how many people would actually notice that? See, I think that's cool in itself.
Back in the 50s, there was a bird for every inch in the sky. If you saw it was like a Tarzan movie with flamingos and everything in there. Then, and when I got here in the 70s, I noticed there was quite a bit difference, but there's still birds everywhere. I took a trip down there in the 80s, and the birds were starting to leave. But I really think the algae, all the chemicals we're using, and of course we have big snakes now, which is they eat a lot of birds and they birds' eggs. So we really have a problem here because when we came back, we started noticing the birds again. And down there are no birds.
Right.
One buzzard. And it reminded me of the old airlines.
Kind of a desolate area.
Well, remember the old airlines, the Buzzard Airlines? It was a real small one.
No.
They only have carry-on.
Oh, really?
A little joke I told my wife on the way down. Anyway, it was a blast. We went down to Key West on Friday and just rummaged around there. It was hot out there.
Did you go eat at Blue Heaven?
No, we didn't eat there at all.
Well,
we just kind of had a drink at Sloppy Joe's and roamed around a few of the
You'll have
haunts
to put
that I
that
went.
on your list next time.
Yeah,
Good,
if we're going to stay there, but we really had most of our activities in Marathon where we played
Where your
music.
friends were.
Yeah, where friends were. So
Nice.
really nice connecting with some new people down there. We had a little party there, about 18, 20 people, a little music, and it's always fun. And then Sunday we came home.
Nice,
It was a
nice.
beautiful
It's
thing.
great to have a little escape.
That's
And
for
maybe
sure.
we need to escape where we're getting our food, folks. 10 foods made in China you must avoid. And this is because these foods are filled with plastic, pesticides, and cancer-causing chemicals. There's an article, davidwolf.com. And, it's become a well-known fact that much of the food found in America comes from China. And why would one need to buy food in China when we have more than enough farmland here?
Yeah.
Beats me. Sounds like it's a big business thing.
Yeah, the first thing is the tilapia fish, which is a bottom feeder, and they actually say that this is a bottom feeder, which is not really bad because I love bottom feeders. I like the grouper.
There's a lot of controversy
It's
today.
a problem if it's polluted. If the waterways are polluted, polluted. And around China, definitely, they're much more polluted even than here.
Right.
So if you're going into the deep sea and getting the bottom feeders, not as such a bad thing, but if you're doing the bottom feeders in rivers and canals and close to shore, big problem.
What I know is a lot of people are actually raising tilapia because of, like sustainable people are building their gardens.
Yeah.
They're sustainable gardens, but they're also building ponds to harvest their own tilapia to eat. I guess if you know what you're feeding your fish and how
most of the
how you're raising
feed
them.
is with soybeans.
Right.
So that's not good. So if you're feeding their natural food, but where are you going to get bottom food from an ocean in your little pond?
The last time I haven't seen any fish running around in cornfields or in soybean fields. Hey, another fish is cod. 50% of cod comes from China, and same issues, pollution and the feeding issues of not knowing what these animals are eating.
Yeah,
Next,
apple juice.
Yeah, well, first of all, we shouldn't be drinking apple juice. Processed pasteurized apple juice has virtually no nutrition and all kinds of sugar. If you're going to have apple juice, make it yourself at home in your Blend Tech or your NutriBullet or something. But better yet, just go ahead and eat the apple, because the act of chewing and all that is really what you want. But they're loaded with pesticides when you're getting them from China.
Processed mushrooms. Who thought mushrooms would be processed, but in China they are, apparently. And you just can't trust them. I don't know why. If we're eating local, that pretty much cuts out all these foods. But I just want people to be aware that a lot of these things are hidden. I mean, you go looking for mushrooms.
Well, now we know the DARK Act was passed by President Obama. Which really the media's putting a spin on it, like it's labeling for GMO. But what it's saying is we're not going to label country of origin. Yeah. So you won't know where you're getting your food. So you really do need to know who's growing your food.
Yeah. Chinese garlic comes with methyl bromide, which is a thing that they use for termites, but they also use Vicane.
Isn't that lovely?
Which methyl bromide actually has a residual to it.
Well, bromide is a what? Halogen. And what do halogens do? Bromide, it displaces iodine. Right. And that makes us sick. Yeah. Yeah. Chicken. In 2013, the U.S. Department of Agriculture approved the sale of chicken for China in the United States. So we've had 3 years of Chinese chicken.
Yeah, and of course, what happens to the green slime, we have manufacturers here that put chickens through centrifuges, the whole chicken, beaks, talons, everything, and they make this slurry out of it. Then they send the slurry to China. They package it up for McDonald's and these companies that make those little...
chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Yes, or chicken-like nuggets. Yeah. Hey, it really is strange. Plastic rice, folks.
Yeah, I haven't heard of this before.
There are reports that China is now sending over rice that is not really rice. When it's cooked, it stays hard. So that might be a clue. If you've gotten a bag of rice and the rice stays hard, the rice may actually be made of potato and resin.
Yeah, maybe they're keeping the rice for themselves. Maybe they know something that's going to happen, that, maybe there's going to be huge shortages and they feel they need the rice, so let's ship them fake rice.
Yeah, maybe because they know rice was really a storage food. Essentially, plastic rice is on the market, and this may give the GMO grain companies a run for their money.
The other thing is black pepper mud, which is a little substitute that they're putting in there. Actually, people are finding dirt.
They were actually finding that the black pepper was actually mud in little dots. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And so it just really goes on to say, guys, we got to start knowing who's making our food. Industrial salt. Well, first of all, we know we don't need industrial salt. If you're watching this show, you know we need to eat air-dried sea salts with full minerals.
And the last one is some green peas. These are found in China. They're fake peas created with snow peas, soybeans, and all
green
kinds
dye.
Of dye. Yeah.
So we got to watch what we're eating. When we come back, we're going to talk about other things that we may or may not be wanting to eat. So
that's right. The number here is 877-927-6648. We'll be back in a moment. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Welcome back. We were just talking about some foods we want to stay away from. They're probably coming out of China that aren't good for us, but yet we see these articles, why eating meat is linked to higher risk of death. And folks, we got to go beyond the headlines often and actually find out how these studies are made, because it's really, like Nico and I have been saying for ages, it's not the food inherently, it's what we're doing to the food. The way we're raising the food, the way we're processing the food.
The highlights of this is munching on meat is linked to a higher risk of death, and eating more plant protein, however, is associated with a lower risk of death. And this comes from CNN, so you're probably hearing this.
Right, and all you hear, you focus on, oh boy, I need to stop eating meat, but the question is what kind of meat? Because scientists have long connected, here's the word, processed red meats with a wide spectrum of chronic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. We never recommend processed, sandwich type meats and high nitrate meats and so forth.
We're trying to stay away from that stuff. I mean, it's not like we don't eat any processed meat, but there are some good places you can get processed meat, much harder to find than good grass-fed meat of any kind, or any kind of meat that is what we call healthy, that the animals have been eating healthy, they've been treated humanely, and they're allowed to roam free, and that's the real key. Right. If they're allowed to roam free, that means they're going after their own food most of the time.
They're eating their natural diet?
Yeah, and they're supplemented, but then they're supplemented not with soy or grain, they're supplemented with hay.
Correct.
That's a better thing. The researchers found that associations between protein intake and risk of death were confined to participants who had at least one other unhealthy lifestyle habit or ailment, such as smoking, heavy drinking, obesity, or physical activity. So in other words, they do this test on people who already have a problem, and now they're saying, so the headline is completely wrong.
Right. It is. And let's balance this out. We know that we can get good protein sources from plant foods when done right. Mm-hmm. We get the best protein sources from animals that eat their natural diet.
Yeah. And the basic reason for this, the protein from animals, first of all, if they're healthy, it has good fat attached to it, and that's important to me because that's where my fuel is. Protein is only really good for rebuilding your body, and which is not a small thing by any means. But what they're trying to do here is have have the headline, and then hopefully the people will just go on and say, okay, I know what this is all about. But if you don't dig any deeper, you're not going to find this. And there's a particular problem with plant protein, and our ancient ancestors knew this, and that's why with protein, if you're going to eat a lot of protein from plants, you're going to do things to it, such as ferment it.
So you can absorb it and use it. And the article really kind of starts out with that real startling headline, but it goes on farther and says, but high animal protein intake has been linked to higher levels of insulin-like growth factor, a protein that has been linked to worse health outcomes, whereas high plant protein has been linked with lower blood pressure and lower insulin. Yet, it says, alternatively, it is possible that other components in the food, other than the protein, might per se be the culprit. For example, processed red meat is high in sodium, nitrates, and nitrites, which have all been linked to worse health outcomes. So again, it's how we're processing, how we're raising these foods. It's important that you care where your food comes from, because you need to get the foods that are raised so your body can use it properly.
Yeah, and also the government, the U.S. government's 2015 to 2020 dietary guidelines recommend a diet with limited saturated fat, low sodium, and more vegetables and whole grains. And this is what, of course, our government is recommending. This is what the Health Association is recommending. And I think they're recommending this because this is much easier for them to give people who are starving. I mean, when we go to Haiti or we go to Bangladesh and drop off food, it's always the rice and the wheat. It's never great meat. It's never let's herd some animals in there. Let's send a bunch of cattle over there and let them roam the countryside, and these people can have some really good food. That's not what they're doing. So they're backing their own program. And these are the people who really need the vitamins and minerals, and they're getting empty stuff, and they're trying to convince us to do the same thing. And pretty much they've convinced us for the last 30, 40 years, because this is what the majority of people are eating if they're not eating the fast food.
So it says, in conclusion of this article, it does cite that plant foods are good for us, and those of us that follow a primal diet know that plant foods are very good for us, and really can be enjoyed, particularly the vegetables and the leafy greens, without consequence, and can actually be a helper. It's
I see the vegetables more like medicine to me.
Yeah, I don't. I like, but that's okay. That's why it's cool. I like more vegetables, but you have to watch. It's the ones that don't spike the insulin. Throw you out. I like them for the fiber, because I think we need the fiber today.
Yeah, and I certainly do eat that. Okay, so it says here too, the good sources would be whole grain bread, cereals, nuts, and legumes. So then, listen, folks, these are all seed-based. And we know that seeds are held in stasis.
Right.
They don't want to be eaten. And to get them out of stasis, you have to just merely add water and a little sunshine, and they come out of stasis. They become
to make a whole plant.
And then you can eat them.
And that's why eating the leaves and then the offshoot of that is what's healthy. That's the energy of the plant. But eating too many seeds and stuff, we see so many people that eat these kind of diets have a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah, because it's hard to digest.
It sure is.
Yeah, because the lectin and the proteins that are in there purposely so you won't crack that nut and eat the insides of it. Now, there are things that you can do with these. Our ancestors knew this, and fermenting them, let them rot a little bit, let them soak, get them more palatable for us, and combining with other foods, especially spices, herbs, and things like that, make these things very, very good for us. So the thing to remember in this whole idea is that if you're going to eat meat, you're going to have really good source from them. It's preferably local, but it's hard to get local meats. It's easier to get local vegetables. Here in Florida, we're lucky. We have big cattle ranges out here.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that Florida actually is one of the largest cattle producers in the world.
It is the largest.
Yeah.
Up ahead of Texas.
And that's good because we have grass most of the year. So hopefully, we have a better profile in our meat. But this is the thing. This article is written by a certified nutritional person, and we still have this continuing information that maybe has half-truths. And that's why you have to really dive in and make the decisions for yourself. And we have a short break. I just want to highlight this. The medical boards threaten the career of doctors that question big pharma propaganda. And the reason I want to open this article is because, today, the American Medical Association has less than a 17% membership. That's a pretty startling number.
Yeah.
But they're really aggressively going after people like Dr. Oz. And they're proposing new ethical and professional guidelines for physicians. This is really a way of retarding free speech, an inability to share what you want, to keep us in a diet.
Their diet.
And their diet into a kind of a diet.
And
dichotomy.
Oz is no stranger to this whole thing because he's definitely bought by the corporations too. Although I've seen him at times really embrace certain things.
Well, actually, this article is explaining that they've really been after him.
Yeah.
The American Medical Association, the pharmaceutical companies, calling him a quack because he does talk about natural solutions.
Yes, he does.
And these doctors aren't liking it because people are coming into their doctor's office and saying, "Hey, I saw this on Dr. Oz," and although I may or may not agree with Dr. Oz on everything. He's doing a lot for getting people to start thinking about using things that might be in their own house, their own food for healing.
It's kind of like the Dr. Gucci, Sanjay Gucci from CNN diving into the marijuana thing and getting flack for that.
Right.
All these people are trying to do is, first help their sponsors, but also I think they're trying to get to the truth somewhat too. So I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, the key thing is that you got to watch where you're getting your information from.
Watch right here. We'll be right back.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. I'd like to remind you that this Thursday at 6:30 we have a live event, Beyond Diet, Exercise, and Supplements, a live webinar, August 4th at 6:30. And this presentation is for people who are on the Primal Edge, are on the newsletter. If you've ever bought Primal Edge, you're welcome to join this, and we'll explain exactly how to get onto the site and things like that on Thursday's show, let you know what's going on. It's an important thing because there's things that we need to do now that we never had to do in the past to remain healthy. As a society and individually, we have to start this.
Well, just like the AMA doctors have been telling us, oh, just eat a balanced diet. Well, that's just not exactly true because the soil is depleted. So even the food that we're eating today does not have the basic nutrients that we needed because we have allowed big agriculture to destroy our soil. So join us, folks, on Thursday at 6:30.
And also, I'd like to remind you to pick up some Primal Edge. If you're contemplating doing some kind of supplementation, we recommend this one highly. There's a lot of good supplements out there. This is probably one of the best ones ever conceived. Paige worked on this for maybe 7 to 8 months, and I helped her get this whole thing together, getting the label together, and it was a nice joint venture, and we ended up with a product that I feel is one of the best in the industry, especially for the money. $89 a month gets it to your door. Also, I have a new Health Signals newsletter out today. It'll be out sometime after Tommy gets in. A lot of information out there about what we talked about the last few weeks and some new things too, so you get that. The next article that I wanted to go over was really
as a counterpoint to what we were talking about.
This is counterpoint. It's a scary mental health risks of going meatless. This is another scare tactic, but this is closer to home for me because I think this is right.
Yeah. Well, you know, Ramsey, a Columbia University professor and psychiatrist of 14 years, wanted to put one of his patients on a medicine, but she didn't want to take it. She took care of her body and so forth. So he prescribed something different, a grass-fed steak. So what we're finding is more and more people are feeling that, as we just discussed in the previous section, that many people think if they eliminate meat, they are on a healthier path, but this is not true. And it's true that although there's over 8 million Americans or vegetarians in the U.S. that are drawn to the diet's promise of a healthier life, less risk of cardiovascular disease, and a healthier planet, they pass on their beef, poultry, chicken, fish, and there's a growing body of research that suggests a link between going meatless and an elevated risk for serious mental disorders.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed during this the last two conventions is Bill Clinton has been on a meatless diet for a few years now, ever since he had the cancer thing.
He looks
horrible.
He looks horrible. He really does, folks. And there you go. That's a vegan for you. I shouldn't say that. Because there are a lot of healthy vegans. But what I'm saying, what I want to say is that over an extended period of time, if you're having these kind of frailty symptoms, anxiety, depression, it can really be a sign that you're missing important nutrients that are only available in animal foods. Despite what people want to say, it's very difficult to get many of the fat-soluble nutrients that are only available in animal foods. So, I'm a big fan of lots of vegetable-type foods.
Sure.
I like them. I think they're great, but I think it's important to make sure you get those foods that have the nutrition that you can't get anywhere else.
And the beautiful thing about meat is you don't need a lot of it.
No.
I mean, the size of the palm of your hand is enough for a day, actually.
We're going to talk about that because I think a real big point is that much of these studies that indicate that meat diets are a problem might not just be the way we're raising these meats, but also the quantity that we're eating. Many people are eating way too much meat. It should be a moderate item amongst your macronutrients. It is the moderate, fat being the primary, a volume of vegetables for fiber and so forth that are low in glycemic, mostly greens and the colors that are low in glycemic. Not so much fruits. Fruits are a treat.
Yeah, they're like
but
dessert.
Moderate meat. But
one of the people that is quoted in here is Leary Keith, I think her name is, right? She wrote that great book, The Vegetarian Myth. I've heard many of her talks. Really dynamic individual. Her case is far from unique. She says, I hear from vegetarians every day they have this terrible depression, anxiety, and they don't understand why. She's the author of The Vegetarian Meat. People think they're eating a beautiful, righteous diet, but they don't realize there's a potential dark side. It's true that many of America's 8 million vegetarians are drawn to the diets of a promise of a healthier weight and heart and planet, just like you said, Paige. They pass on the meat, they pass on the poultry and the pork, unaware of a growing body of research suggesting a link between going meatless and the elevated risk of serious mental disorders. Remember, our brain is animal fat.
It is. It is an animal fat, and it needs fat to work. You know, paleo aside, it's been decades since meat eating really was considered truly healthy. We're constantly seeing articles like what we just saw and talked about on the last section. You know, practically every day it seems there's a new article that says, give up meat and be healthier and be a better global citizen, and as if they're the key to everything from shedding pounds to avoiding cancer. But there's a group of California researchers who found evidence that ditching meat can tack more than 3 years onto your lifespan. We have to go back.
Not ditching meat, getting meat.
No, it says ditching. This group found that ditching meat can tack more than 3 years on your lifespan. That's again because what we're seeing is people are still eating these meats that are not fit to eat. They're eating meats that aren't fit to eat. So what we want to say is that eat the right meats and have the vegetables to balance it out.
Yeah, there's new studies coming out. There really haven't been many on the clean meat, what I call it, the people who are eating really, really good meats like you and I are, and go out and search and make sure and talk to the farmers and talk to the people who are delivering the meat, and ensuring that you're getting really high quality, the type of meat that we're talking about. When they start doing these studies and they're slowly starting to come out, you'll find that just what we're saying is true, that it's much easier for you, because being a vegetarian is very tough. You really have to balance things. And there are people, believe me, that do it very well. And getting the right nutrition. It's just hard because you have to ferment stuff, you have to really seek these things out, and then you have to really supplement the K2 and a couple of other things to get that in there, because there's no way you can get those things.
Yeah. We talk about a lot of people that are observing less meat, and such as 29 million people are taking part in Meatless Monday. I'm all for that. I think we need to give ourselves, give our digestive system a little break here and there, but not eliminate this very important food group. That's what my concern is here. That's the point I want to try to
some of the things, too, that people say is, of course, we have avocado, we have olive oil, we have nuts. These things are hard for us to process. Your body doesn't process them the same way. It takes much more energy to process them to get the end result, and the end result is not even there with it.
Well, they also don't have the B12 and the folate necessarily that is in the animal foods, and much of the vitamin A in the fat-soluble form that we're looking for. But we could go on and on, but we have to take a look at some of these symptoms that people are having. This anxiety, I've seen this in my coaching with people, this anxiety that comes from not having a balanced diet with moderate amount of well-chosen protein. And moderate amount, folks, is a lot less than what people have been saying.
A lot less. And I think if you introduce it slowly, it's a lot better way of doing it. And we'll continue with this in just a few minutes.
Be right back.
The number here is 877-927-6648. Please pick up a new Health Signals newsletter coming out today, and pick up some Primal Edge. And please remember of our live seminar coming up on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
No, that's sick. Welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle. So we're talking about to meet or not to meet. And, you know, food is a factor in health, and especially mental health. And this researcher, Ramsey, we've been talking about, said we should be talking about it. You can't just make a sweeping change to your diet and expect you won't have an effect on your mental capacity. So many young people, and I see this all the time with a lot of these mentally young yogi people that I work with. You know, they're beautiful young girls, and they think that that's the way to go, that's the loving way to be, and then they end up having trouble getting pregnant, or you know, trouble with this kind of a thing. So, you know, we talk about some different brain foods. We've got brain foods on the plant kingdom, and we've got brain foods in the animal kingdom. Yep. But the evidence shows, before we chose to subsist on cashew cheese and tofu, animal flesh provided the energy and calorie density necessary to fuel our big brain growth, our growth of our cerebellums, right? That's right. And without meat, we would have never matured past the mental capacity of herbivores like gorillas.
That's right. Gorillas are herbivores.
Yeah, that's true.
Chimpanzees are a little bit of both. They eat meat, but they're mostly vegetarians. But you can see by the smaller belly, they're not the same as the gorilla. Interesting species. And a lot of monkeys are just vegetarians.
Interesting. Vegetarians have big bellies. I see that a lot.
Yeah.
I see that a lot.
Well, you have to. Because, I mean, you're eating a lot more, first of all. You have to, because plant food is not quite as dense.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
but today's stronger brains are still powered by beef, or at least by many of the nutrients found in beef. This is where we find our our water-soluble B vitamins, our B12, or some of our folate, the whole family of B vitamins.
And those low levels of that is what causes depression, anxiety, and the OCD type of diseases.
One of the reasons when we formulated the Primal Edge that we wanted to we know that there are people that don't absorb B vitamins, have a methylation issue. They're not, first of all, they're not getting them. You know, if they're a vegan or vegetarian, like they should. Right. And even if they are, many people don't break them down properly, so we put the methylated. So we want you to be the importance of the B vitamins in our mental health.
Yeah, and of course, vegetarians...
often low in iron.
Yeah, low in iron, but they also fill up on white bread and rice and pastas and sugar cereals and cookies and things like that because they're not alive. And one of the contentions, of course, being a vegetarian is, well, I don't want to kill the animals.
Yes.
So.
And I understand that.
And I understand that too. And it's been brought out many, many times that when you plant an acre of corn and you destroy the ecosystem there, to do that, you're killing everything on that field.
Right.
And it's been proven a long time ago. Up in Canada, there was a researcher that says, okay, we take 100,000 acres and we put a road right through the middle, and in 10 years, half the animals are gone. Half the animals of every kind.
Yeah, and that's a form of killing the animal too.
Exactly.
It really is.
So everything that we're doing is, doing things like building roads and buildings and like that all kills animals. So it's not so much the food. I think that we want to be concerned about the animals and things, but we also want to be concerned about our health. And I think if you look in nature, we see what's going on. Animals eat each other. Plants eat each other even. So this is how the world works. That's a pretty good clue on how it works. And if you don't like this world, maybe you take one of those little rockets and go to someplace else, because this is the way things work here. And this is not a vegetarian world. And remember, we don't eat animals that eat animals. We eat animals that eat plants.
Yes, because they can process the plant nutrients in a form that's absorbable to us.
Much better for us, exactly.
So really what we're saying is that there are important nutrients that are missed if you limit your diet to one thing. So really it's about getting a balance and having some animal proteins, having the right kind of animal proteins, and you'll have a much healthier way.
Yeah.
So one of the things we wanted to talk about too is as we talk about increasing the fats and increasing and keeping the meat in the moderate range, but increasing the fats so that you don't crave all those junk carbs that aren't good for you anyways, is to increase your consumption of healthy fats that really help you feel good, stimulate good hormone production, and low carb diets are ideal for many people. And this article, this was written by a registered dietitian and professor in the Human Science Department at Ohio State. And he's done enormous work in the field of high-fat, low-carbohydrate, moderate protein diets, investigating how it affects human health and performance.
Yeah, I like Jeff, and all of the people that he hangs around with are really digging in and coming up with research that is really pure research. Yeah,
because this guy, Jeff Volek, he started out as a dietitian. Now, keep in mind, there are some that have gone on to get educated after they got out of their school, but they're taught that low-fat diets were healthy and that saturated fats and cholesterol should be avoided, and that's their dogma. That's what they've been taught to preach. And we're finding that that's completely wrong.
Yeah, and the articles that he's written, and these are scientific journals, The Art and Science of Low-Carb Living, The Art and Science of Low-Carb Performance, and he's really one of these guys that works with athletes and gets them into a ketogenic type diet, which is a low-carb diet.
And what he learned from working with diabetics, was that he kept feeling that something was off. Why should diabetics be eating so many carbs? It just didn't make sense. And when you stop and you think about it, I remember my dad was a diabetic, and he was in the hospital, and they were giving him, Jell-O. It wasn't even sugar-free. It was Jell-O and crackers and oatmeal.
And probably not made with the beef gelatin.
Right, exactly. No, the chemical version, whatever.
Right.
So, in essence, it drove him to want to understand metabolism, nutrition in a much deeper level. And it was also how he dove into his own self-experimentation.
Yeah, his experimentation began in the early 90s, and to his great surprise, his low-carb experiment proved to be anything but harmful. This fueled his passion for understanding how humans respond to diets that are very low in carbohydrates, and led him to continue his education.
And the science continues to point in the direction that there are a lot of applications for diets for a large number of people, that carbohydrates need to be greatly reduced in order to restore metabolic efficiency. We're still sorting out the details, he says, but it's clear we need to change the way we feed America and the way we think about nutrition in order to reverse obesity and diabetes, the two diseases that are proposed to break our medical health care system by 2035. That's just around the corner, folks.
Yeah, and he's also done research on low and non-fiber carb diets and athlete performance. And here, too, the results have been quite positive, despite running counter to everything he was taught about diet and performance in school and in most scientific literature as well. He says it's been an interesting learning experience, to say the least. The things I was reading, the things that I was taught, were not really based on a lot of science. They were half-truths and misinformation, and they still persist persist
And
today.
most likely this information was fueled by industry that wanted to make sure their products were mentioned. As you know, many of the registered dietitian conventions and so forth are sponsored by people like Nabisco, Kellogg, and Coca-Cola. So is your diet driving your metabolism in the right direction? That's something that is really at the heart of what we need to do. Metabolism and metabolic energy is what keeps us going. But most of the food people are eating today is moving their metabolism in the wrong direction. The westernized diet contains biases towards more non-fiber carbs for fuel than we should be having. So we'll continue this conversation. We're going to take a short break. So stay tuned.
Yeah, pick up our Health Signals newsletter, pick up our Primal Edge, and you can still give us a call, of course, 877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV. But if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. Join John Logan as he teaches you trading techniques utilizing the TAS Profile Scanner. The Global Market Pulse, next on TFNN.
Welcome back to the show, folks. We've been talking about is low carb the right thing for you, and it seems like it is. We all have to eat. We all need fuel to live. And without generating ATP, you cannot survive at all. The question is how to do it effectively without generating harmful reactive oxygen species, which are ROS, which can destroy your mitochondria and contribute to disease. It's all about keeping your mitochondria healthy, and low-carb, high-fat diets tend to do that more effectively than high-carb and low-fat diets. It's interesting because regardless of the fuel your body burns, you're going to generate carbon dioxide and water. But when you burn fat, you generate 30% less carbon carbon dioxide, suggesting a lot cleaner fuel. So if you're worried about this global warming scam and the carbon dioxide, if we all stop eating this high carb, we got 30% reduction right there, folks.
Well, that's what we start telling everybody. Just say, lower your carbon footprint, your carbon dioxide footprint. Stop eating so many carbs. It's true, though. Healthy fat is a far more preferable source of fuel for our bodies as it burns more efficiently than carbs. And as noted by Volek, humans evolved to primarily use fat as fuel, not carbs, and yet that's not how we're feeding our bodies today. As a result, we're running into a lot of metabolic problems and these diseases. All of these diseases, cancer, diabetes, osteoporosis, thyroid disease, these are all metabolic diseases which are lifestyle-based, basically based. It comes back to our food. Yeah. We all need to eat to live, but we've got to make better choices.
It really makes no sense if you're carb intolerant to be consuming half your energy from non-fibrous carbs and trying to force your body to burn more carbs. And this is what he's talking about, people who already have problems with insulin.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the biggest challenge we've got. The most efficient way to train your body to use fat for fuel is to remove some of the sugars and starches from your diet. According to Volek, that's true for everyone, whether you're an elite athlete or just the average Joe or Jane, or a sedentary diabetic. In essence, the real reason why low-carb diets work so well is because it helps you escape this non-fiber carb-based metabolism that depends on insulin to drive sugar into the cells and use carbs for fuel. I mean, this is just a yo-yo. The body has to pump out lots of insulin. The high insulin encourages fat storage, and the cells aren't getting the energy they need, and we're suffering, our health is suffering.
And there's also an underlying problem because most Americans eat harmful fats like processed vegetable oils, which invariably make your health worse. So we're really talking about dietary fats. We're referring to the natural, unprocessed fat found in real foods, such as nuts and butter and things like that. But really, we're talking about the ones that come from animals.
Sure, absolutely.
Because the other ones are good fats, nut butters are good fats, olives are great fats, avocados are great fats, and coconut oil is a great fat. However, it does take your body an extra process or two to make these into what we burn.
And that's a really good point, because I think a lot of people, when they think about what meat they eat, their protein choice, they think it's just their protein, but it is a combination of a healthy, the body knows how to deal with that. It's a protein and a fat. Yeah. So they're getting fats in their protein sources. Yeah. Most good, healthy meats have good, healthy fats.
And a way to convince yourself is, if you're local here, go to Carrie Lynn's kitchen and have some of their soup, and then instantly, when you take that first sip of the soups, you can taste that fat, and you don't recognize it as fat, you recognize it as good. And that's the real difference. So, when you start thinking this way, and this is the way I think, fat first. Where is it coming from? How am I going to assimilate it? And if it's coming from a really good source like an animal that's really clean, there's nothing better. It just melts in your mouth, instantly processed, and you have the energy you need.
So let's clean up our diet and eat healthy foods that are eating the foods that they should be eating, and kind of wade our ways through this crazy stuff that we're getting in the media.
That's right. And remember to sign up for the Primal Edge and the newsletter, and you'll get into our wonderful free live webinar on Thursday, the 4th of August, coming up this Thursday.
Have a great day.
Thanks for sticking around, folks.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.